What is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and we have huge updates. A lot is in motion right now. Of course, now the president is talking about sending troops. Taiwan is preparing for things as well, and nobody even knows it. I just talked to somebody, one of my neighbors, who didn't even know that Taiwan was an issue. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is saying that they don't think they're just going to take Ukraine. We'll talk about all of that and more in today's show with sources. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. I'm gonna go to him when I die. Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride. I'm gonna go to him when I die. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we have a lot to go over and a lot of really breaking stories here. So remember, you can follow along over on marfooglenews.com, where we keep a detailed bibliography of every source, authoritative, alternative, opinion, whatever it may be. It's all going to be over there. If we show you a picture, a document, a video, a tweet, all of the sources will be over on marfooglenews.com. In addition to that, you can also sign up for our email alerts. We would only use that. Again, we only use it for important stuff. We haven't used it in months. When we do use it, we make sure it's important. And then, of course, you can also sign up for our notifications if the platforms are not getting them out. And then, of course, on our website, it's very easy to navigate. It is all done by thumbnail. You can follow this thumbnail. Again, the thumbnail may change, but most of the time it's the same, on Their Doorstep. Again, when you click on this, you will see that it brings you to a detailed list of every source we have for the show. On top of that, right down below is a yellow bar. Once you hit that yellow bar, you are actually going to see web-only content. That is the stuff that is too far to one direction or too kind of sensitive for us to talk about without triggering everyone in the audience. That is all down there below. And then, of course, on the right side, if you do want to support us, all of our affiliates are there, like Amazon. If you're already shopping at Amazon, again, I'm not asking anyone to go over and support them if they're not, but if you are already shopping, if you click on that box beforehand, that will end up helping us with the commission. And then, of course, Emp Shield and all of the items that we help people prepare with, those are all over there as well. You get a huge discount, and then, of course, you help our channel out as well. That's how that ecosystem works. So thank you, everybody that supports. Again, we are independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. We don't have a multi-billion-dollar company. We have the Foogle family and the Mafia. Otherwise, help us by sharing and subscribing, and please make sure to hit that like button and then share this with at least one friend if you can. All right, let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex. How are you doing, and what is going on today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I am feeling all right.
So we're first going to talk about some of the, I guess, some of the main things that people are following. And then, of course, nobody is following that we're about to be into the third world conflict, which I don't understand. It says WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange allowed to appeal extradition to the U.S. Of course, a lot of us think that something will happen to him before that happens or before anything happens because... in fact, already we took a poll about a week before he had a mysterious stroke. They said it could have been from stress, whatever it is. With the track record of public things going wrong with, of course, people that are in jail or in custody,
You start to wonder. It says WikiLeaks founder Assange can appeal to the UK's Supreme Court against extradition to the United States. Britain's High Court ruled on Monday. The decision comes more than a month after two senior judges in the High Court overturned a January 2021 magistrates court ruling and said that Assange could be extradited to the U.S. on the basis of assurances given by the U.S. government about his treatment there. U.S. authorities have charged the 50-year-old under the Espionage Act for his role in publishing thousands of classified military and diplomatic cables in 2010. If convicted, Assange faces up to 175 years in prison. So he'll only get like 110 on good time, which, I mean, yeah, he would be dead. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments down below. Then we have a mainstream article saying that Saturn's ice moon could be a stealth ocean world hospitable to life. One thing that I always point out with these is that we've had so many pieces like this about not even the life outside of our solar system, but I have noticed that they've talked a lot more about habitable planets. And also, they've been coming up with all these surprises about the planets that are right here, supposedly right here in our universe, right? They've talked about Mars, they've talked about Saturn, they've talked about Jupiter, now they've talked about Uranus, they've talked about Neptune, they've talked about pretty much all of them have had these surprises happen all of a sudden. And now they're saying, well, why are they putting money into looking at this? Are they looking for a hospitable planet to move to, the next Goldilocks planet? Or if it's not a Goldilocks planet, a planet that they could turn into one? Dex, what do you think about this as far as they're talking about now Saturn's ice moon could be a stealth ocean world?
Yeah, I find it interesting. They're always seeming to find an option or a place for us to go, right? And we know that there are plenty of people that are doing everything they can to get off of this planet because of some reason that, you know, we don't know, other than the fact that they like to use the one big change movement that's going on as a reason to leave. But we've seen the investments, obviously, from the commercial operations, from whether it's Elon or Bezos or others. But here we have yet another place to potentially go. You've got the moon, you've got Mars, and now they're saying that this could be a hospitable place, which would probably make it a lot easier. I don't know. It seems like it'd be awfully cold because it's a lot further from the sun. But yeah, it's potentially a hospitable place for life. So we'll see.
Well, I guess they would have to bring their space heater. It's space because it's in space. It says Mimas, which is the smallest and closest to Saturn of the ringed planet's 82 moons, may contain a liquid internal ocean. If Mimas has an ocean, it represents a new class of small stealth ocean worlds with surfaces that do not betray the ocean's existence. It says that the study published last week in the journal Icarus, Mimas, was first discovered in 1789 by English astronomer William Herschel at the tiny dot near Saturn. The Voyager probes imaged the small moon in 1980. The NASA's Cassini mission conducted flybys of it while studying Saturn between 2004 and 2017. The moon is only 115,000 miles from Saturn and takes about 22 hours to complete one orbit around the planet. Mimas is covered in craters, but the largest one is 80 miles across and gives the moon its distinctive Death Star appearance. So apparently, again, it supposedly looks like the Death Star. This is a supposed picture of it, right? Which actually, that is kind of crazy. It does look like a Death Star.
I know, doesn't it? It's kind of creepy.
That's where the laser beam comes out of the Death Star, right? And then we have, this is, a lot of people are talking about this. I would say wait on this, but this is just out of a movie. Out of a movie. A truck crashed with 4 monkeys on it that were apparently lab monkeys.
Well, 100 monkeys, technically. 4 got out.
Oh, no. Wasn't it more than 100? It was like 2, or I guess it does say 100, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 100. I think they'd just flown in and they were driving them down to Florida, I believe.
So 100 lab monkeys. These are were they capuchins or they were something else? That other kind, macaque.
Macaques, I think.
Macaques. Yeah. The smaller ones. I was thinking 100 monkeys, but then they are the smaller monkeys. They were all in cages. Apparently, 4 of them had gotten loose. I'll just read, but at the time of this, they were all still out loose. And it says a truck crash in the U.S. involving a transportation of around 100 monkeys to a laboratory has sparked infection fears after a woman who came in contact with was warned over diseases, which seems kind of normal with any animal, especially one from a lab. But it says the test monkeys were on their way to a laboratory in Florida when the truck crashed into a garbage truck on Friday near Danville, Pennsylvania, with 4 of the primates escaping. The incident allowed 4 monkeys, confirmed to be macaques, to the chance to break for it, and they managed to escape from their containers. So this is an image basically with that kind of monkey. I believe that these are macaques. And it says 3 monkeys were captured and humanely euthanized, according to American Veterinary Association guidelines, but the reports only sparked further concerns. So, whoops, sorry about that, guys.
Why would they euthanize them?
Why? Yeah, why?
Or is that just a code name for, they killed them out in the field because they couldn't capture them? I don't know.
Yeah, why did they immediately, and there was 4, so why did they take 3 of them? And at the time of this, I believe 1 was still loose. It said the incident has fueled reports of the monkeys carrying an infection after a woman has warned she stopped to help the animals, believing they were cats. I guess if they were up in a tree, you would see fur, and maybe if they weren't looking at you, that you could see a tail and think it's a cat. It says Michelle.
Well, and they were telling people. Sorry, Adam. They were telling people to avoid them, to stay away, as if there were, it was dangerous. Not, aside from it just being a potentially wild or captive animal, but that also sort of fueled to the speculation. Everybody was sort of getting up in arms over this. Like, why would they tell this one lady now she's sort of needs to watch herself for the next 30 days? Why did they tell people to, don't go near them, don't go anywhere near them. If you see them, call, don't try to stop them. Like it sounded very dangerous at first, when I don't know if these are really dangerous monkey. I mean, I'm sure maybe it'll scratch you up, but it's not like a chimp or an ape.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, this is almost the plot out of the movie Outbreak, right? So this has a lot of people all over the place. I mean, the internet, the underground internet was on fire. A lot of people are saying a lot of things. I'm not saying any of those things yet because I'm still looking at it, but I just think it's very convenient. This is the kind of story that you need to know about and just put in the back of your brain for something later to come. Just say in Florida something happened. And by the way, Florida is one of the places that, of course, is one of the least restricted states. And it would be kind of crazy if something happened where they became the most restricted state. But I don't know. It seems like everybody is chilling back on that. In fact, the UK just undid all of theirs, and they're like, you don't even have to wear anything. Very, very odd timing, especially with what we're going to be talking about later, which is what looks like the beginning of a massive conflict with involving Russia, possibly China, involving us. So,
now, don't you think they could have put everybody's mind at ease if they just said, hey, look, these just came in from Africa. They're going to a lab to be used like we use for monkeys. We test things on them or do things on them, and they're just wild. Like, let's make sure we get them, and nobody panic. That would be the logical thing to say, right? If that's exactly what they were. If they flew in, because apparently they flew into New York and then were put on a truck and was heading to Florida. So, I think I had heard in another article they had flown in from Africa, but that's kind of the easiest thing to tell the public. But they didn't. And even Cat Dog Cat was involved in telling and giving advice to public officials and stuff about what they should be doing. And this didn't seem to be the path they went down. They sort of made this into something that scared quite a bit of people. So I totally agree. Keep it in the back of your mind. See if something does come from this.
And just to reiterate what the actual statements were, police previously advised members of the public to not actively look for them. Like, I guess if it was just like regular zoo animals and it happened in my neighborhood, I'd be like, oh, cool, let's go find some monkeys. I don't know. Maybe some people would, though. Not actively look for the animals and do not attempt to catch or come in contact with it. even just, yeah, like Dex said, it's like even if they made it sound like, this is like a fruit that you're taking over the border. That fruit comes in contact with grass and makes a new fruit. It could mess up the whole ecosystem because it could destroy the natural order of things. That's why they're so sensitive about people bringing fruit or different things over the borders, because they don't want those seeds or something to go in the ground and mess up something or mess up ecology. It could kill animals or whatever. But this was different. Everybody said that this was like something incredibly serious happened. So I would keep this in the back of your head, but closer to the front. Christopher Walker, thank you for pledging on Patreon. It looks like during the show, I can't tell. And then Dwayne Rusa, thank you so much for pledging on Patreon as well. Delaware Sasquatch, thank you for the support. It says potential for a major snowstorm on the East Coast this weekend. Keep your ears open and, of course, take all precautions and prepare early, Foogle fam. Delaware Sasquatch, that's correct, and I'm hoping that it's not as bad as some say it is. And then Stephen McMahon and Rhiannon S., thank you for being the last ones out last time. Make sure to thank your mods down below. They are keeping this a peaceful place. Remember, we don't talk about other creators here. We don't talk badly about other people. Remember, if you do get muted for any reason, it's most likely just because of a dry rule break, and don't take it personal. You can come back in 5 minutes. And then Delaware says, if they were headed to Florida from Newark, New Jersey, Danville, PA makes no sense. Oh, saying that basically the path that they were taking, why did they take that path? I was just trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe it was because they were dangerous. Maybe it was because they had something, so they were taking the back roads. I don't know. Just a guess. Christopher Butler, thank you for subscribing. Princess Peach Fuzz, thank you for subscribing. And Patricia Tasker, thank you for just hitting that button 7 minutes ago. Aunt Jenny and Dwayne Russa, again, thank you for your support. What do you think about the of course, this happening? What do you think about all of this? Would if this happened where you were, what would you think this was? Go ahead.
One other crazy thought. There's one organization you always see in organized crime on television, and that's the sanitation group. And that's what hit this truck was a garbage truck, right?
Well, not only, do you remember the train crash with the party that was going to the nuclear bunker a couple years ago? There was like a luncheon where they had, I want to say it was the Republican Party, and they were headed to Greenbrier. Let's see, garbage truck. It was a garbage truck that the train hit. Garbage truck hit by train. This was one of the earliest things I covered with my channel. Let's see here. Yeah, look at this. This was in 2018. Wow, it's been 4 years. So this was GOP congressional train. I see. This is one of the stories that I kept in the back of my head. So they said that there was all these weird things. They changed the story like 3 or 4 times on this. They said that they were headed to a luncheon and whatever else. And then one of the people made a statement saying, oh, it was just a routine drill, like if something happened. But then he was asked by whoever was asking the questions. Well, they said, well, that nuclear shelter is no longer in operation. And the guy says, oh, yeah, I meant this and this and that. And then that video kind of disappeared. This was a big deal, like, I don't know, 3 years ago? About a year later, people were like, what the hell is this statement about this day? It said that NBC is reporting a train carrying congressional Republicans to the GOP retreat at the Greenbrier has hit a vehicle. A GOP aide tells NBC people on the train appear to be okay. The accident happened between a train and a garbage truck. This was also a huge, like, that time period was just such a weird area. But Greenbrier, if you did not know, has one of the largest or one of the most historic nuclear shelters in the world. And at one point, it was where if the president was around that area, he or anybody else would go there to stay safe. So some thought that was like them drilling to go there, to take a train there if they had to evacuate or something. And it crashed like it was a message. At that point, there was a lot of really weird turmoil. Yeah, I would have to go back to that video to kind of see what surrounded it, but I remember there was a lot of stuff that it was like every 25 minutes it was something big. All right, and then as far as these macaques, check it out. All of it is on our website. There's more there for you to go through and to investigate for yourself. If you find something that we missed, let me know. We have much more insane things to talk about today. UAE intercepts 2 ballistic missiles over Abu Dhabi with no casualties reported, Defense Ministry says. It says the UAE said it intercepted 2 ballistic missiles targeting its capital, Abu Dhabi, early Monday, following a drone attack in the city a week ago. In a statement, the UAE Ministry of Defense said its air defense has intercepted and destroyed 2 ballistic missiles fired by the Houthi group. So one thing is they're saying that these are ballistic missiles. So Dex, are these bigger things that could have carried, nuclear weapons, or just regular ballistic missiles, with say a Moab in it or something like?
Yeah, they're probably just ballistic in the sense that they can travel fairly far, and they're probably from, the type of stuff we saw either in Ryak or from the I ran to the store country type of weapon. It's not necessarily, I would think, typically to be that big, but it is able to carry some distance. That's why they're ballistic.
Well, either way, to see a big missile like that heading your way is no fun. Why does this have any relation to anything else? It says the attack did not result in any casualty, as the remnants of the intercepted and destroyed ballistic missiles fell in separate areas around the Emirates of Abu Dhabi. It says the ministry said it is ready to deal with any threats and takes all necessary measures to protect the state from all attacks. Really creepy. I mean, imagine living there. This is why we take, a lot of us take this for granted, the fact that we don't have missiles over our head. There are parts of the world where they hear those sirens, and it's not for a tornado, it's for missiles, and it will really hit. It's not some, that happens in places in the world, and just feel very blessed for living where I am. Not so much right now, but I am very blessed to live, in Washington rather than Abu Dhabi or somewhere else. At around 4:15 on Monday, witnesses in Abu Dhabi said they heard the sounds of explosions and saw what they described as fireballs in the sky. So that could also be something else, right? You never know. Dex, you thought about that? What if they said it was ballistic, wasn't at all? What if it was something else?
Yeah, you never know.
I guess not. I hope if you have videos that back this up, please let me know. Or if you find one, send it to me or tag me on Twitter. Real quick, I wonder if that's the I know that they said in some locations they did fire off the Patriot missile system, which is the American system. I don't know if that's the one that actually caught it, though. It'd be interesting to know if it was our equipment or if it was their own defense equipment, which I guess would probably be ours. Yeah,
it wasn't iron. It wasn't the Iron Dome, though.
That would be our technology. And then we have Sweden boosts patrols on Gotland amid NATO-Russia tensions. Now, this one, it is more important to see the video. Dex, were you able to find the video that I was talking about?
Yeah, the videos. I think if it's either in the article, it's on the website, or I added it to the website. I can't remember.
Okay, so because the defense minister talking is much more important. Dex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, it was a weird, scratchy, radio sound. So hearing the video of him talking about this in an interview was very creepy, because he basically said, look at history. He was talking like myself or any of my colleagues. He said, look at history. It looks like history is repeating itself. This has happened in history, and they don't just stop at the place that they're going. They said, with the amount of stuff that's going on and with the amount of troops, he goes, we're going to do anything and everything ready to defend Sweden. If you look at a map, Sweden's up here with Ukraine down here. Basically, he was saying, we don't know if they're going to take Sweden after they take Ukraine. He was implying that, they very well could just keep going, steamrolling right in. This is pretty scary stuff. And he said that essentially it could escalate into way more than just Ukraine. So this is yet another country coming out and saying, this looks like something else. This doesn't look like just what we're talking about with, hey, we take Ukraine, it's quiet the next day. They took Ukraine. We're talking about World War III.
And they're not NATO either. So they took the decision to defend themselves and make their own treaties with other countries that will either help them or they'll help each other, right? But they're sort of on their own. But they're also obviously gearing up big time and taking it fairly seriously. And yeah, that video, if you want to see it, it is on our website. I just made sure I added it.
It says Sweden's military said on Thursday it was ramping up its visible activities on the Baltic Sea island of Gotland due to increased tensions between NATO and Russia over Ukraine. Moscow has spooked the West by massing troops near Ukraine, sparking fears it is considering invading. Moscow denies any such plans, saying it can deploy forces on its territory wherever it chooses. This is, again, been what they've been saying for a month. Now it's been changed. We'll show that here in a minute. Trains of troops are floating into the borders. Dex, can you take over for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. So with Sweden, particularly the island that they're looking at is right in the middle of the sea there. And when you look at a map, they generically call it like this aircraft carrier looking island. But it would be a strategic place, not only for them to defend because it's their land, but it would also be a strategic place to be picked up for Russia or anyone else. But in this scenario, obviously they're concerned about Russia and how they may expand if they want to go beyond the Ukraine. So obviously they need to put in a position of strength. They don't want to, just say, hey, we're doors open, come take our land if you want it. So they're gearing up for it. And I think what this does is it shows, we're dealing with a lot of countries, whether it's, we heard recently or a month or so ago, Poland was worried about Belarus. Obviously, Russia's moved into Belarus and moved their troops through there so that they can set up for Ukraine, in addition to the other locations around the Ukraine's border. So we've got a lot of moving parts in Eastern Europe that are playing, and weighing heavily on a lot of the Eastern Europe or Western Europe countries as they see what may or may not unfold on the Eastern side.
Yeah, I mean, right there, you can obviously see that multiple countries. This is not just the U.S. and UK and Russia. This is countries all over the world are talking about this, and they're giving us all pieces of the information that they have. Sweden is afraid that they're going to take Sweden as well. I think that's pretty important. And then Ukraine receives second batch of U.S. weapons in Russian standoff. As we said earlier, we've been tracking even more flights. Now this confirms that they did send more equipment. They've sent more cargo planes. It says airmen and civilians from the 436th Aerial Port Squadron palletize ammunition, weapons, and other equipment bound for Ukraine during a foreign military sales mission at Dover Air Force Base. This basically happened, and then they shipped it out on January 21st. It says Ukraine's defense minister, Olsky Reznevkov, said on Sunday that the country had received a second consignment of weapons from the United States as part of a defensive aid totaling $200 million. Washington has said that it would continue to support Ukraine amid concerns in Kiev and amongst its Western allies over tens of thousands of Russian troops amassed on its border. Now, Dex, do we remember what was the number of the amount of money of stuff that was left in Afghanistan? Wasn't that 75 million or was that
80 billion? 80 billion or something like that.
Oh,
it was
my
significant.
gosh. So think about that. All of the stuff that we're sending to Ukraine to help them is 1/5 of $1 billion. Now times that by 75 billion. Well, times it by 75, you got how much we left in Afghanistan. That doesn't even seem right. We gave them the ability to fight a conflict against us. And people don't, something's fishy here. Like, they've already organized and like, hey, strike these places. We don't like these towns. What a crazy place. I do want to.
So this goes hand in hand with, I'm sorry, Adam, this goes hand in hand with what we reported on last week when we told everybody about the military aircraft that were going in that were cargo planes. When we found that, our administration admitted, yes, we are sending equipment but we're not sending troops, even though that potentially is changing as we speak. But the one thing he did say, if you remember, Adam, he said, we have always, as if this was always going on, you shouldn't be worried about it, been spending special operations over there for quote unquote training. Well, I heard just recently today and yesterday and the day before from a couple different folks in the Fugel fam with military connections about some special ops being told they have 24 hours to, be ready to go. So that kind of goes hand in hand with what we're seeing here. And what's been said, publicly. So that's kind of interesting. And then what we're going to report on just a little bit is like what they're foreshadowing is the next steps.
And they're essentially pulling out the schedule per se. They're showing you what's going on. What John Kirby went over is what the change was. They were already at high alert, is what they said. Now they're at a shorter high alert, basically. Amount of days. It got cut in half. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. First, I want to get to this though. Again, if you can, please make sure to go over and check out Emp Shield. This is a company we recommend. One, because they are a great company, but two, because we do believe that if this happens, this will save lives. It will possibly save thousands of dollars. I mean, if it's a short-term thing, which is very unlikely. Essentially, if we have an EMP hit the U.S. or if you're in the UK or anywhere, if you have an EMP hit and it is one of the stronger ones, or a solar flare or a Carrington level event, which they say will happen, this device can help save your generator, your house, your car, whichever device you choose to actually protect. Again, this can actually save you from that. Marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is essentially a device that grounds the signal before it can fry whichever thing you are protecting. So it works as fast as a picosecond, not even talking a microsecond or a nanosecond. We're talking a picosecond. So this is one of the strongest and most efficient shield against these two different kinds of attacks and even lightning that you can get. This company has not only been contracted with agencies like DOD, DHS, but now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid, which again have their own grid separate from the United States. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to get $50 off per device, and you will be helping out our independent news agency, and I really appreciate everyone that has done so already. And anybody that has already gone through this company will know that they are awesome people. This is an actual awesome company. Like, there's very few that aren't just fake and do things because it's for marketing. These guys do it because they want to help people. They've done things that they don't talk about, that they don't advertise for people, especially like they've done things for the Fugel fam that I was just blown away by, and they didn't tell anybody. We were told by Fugel fam that this company helped them out and basically did it because they wanted to help. So, and they didn't do it for a reason. They didn't do it for an advertisement. Kind of like if you see Comcast, this is my most hated commercial, and I don't hate very many things, but it's Comcast showing a video of them bringing presents to random customers, and then they take it as a photo op and take a picture with grandma, and they brought her a set of books or something. It's like you're doing that for this commercial only, and then you put it out that like you're in the community. If my Comcast guy brought me a present, I would be like, leave and send somebody else. That's creepy. Either way. I don't know, though. If he brought my grandma something, I'd be like, oh, thanks. That's cute. Wait, are you with Comcast? MarfoogleNews.com/EMP. And then we, of course, have Ukraine crisis. Hundreds of military trains with Russian troops deployed as war fears grow. Hundreds of military trains packed with Russian troops are being deployed to Ukraine's neighbor, Belarus. It emerged last night as PM Boris Johnson warned of a bloody new Chechnya if Moscow invades. The Mir has learned as many 30 train loads as of Moscow's troops have entered Belarus in the past week, with a staggering 200 scheduled for the next few days. So there's also more sources that verify that other than the Mir. There we have Belstat.eu. We have, in fact, Dex, can we add the Belsat article as well? That's a .eu site. I think you can just look up Russian trains, Belsat.eu, and we can find it.
I'll look for it.
Otherwise, I can send it to you. Otherwise, but that's big. So this basically confirms that they are bringing in thousands more troops. We're talking about 230 trains in the next 3 days. This is big. On top of the 140 Navy ships that were deployed. If you've missed the last couple shows, there are big things happening right now. Make sure to subscribe to Marfoogle News because all of the short 10-minute kind of updates on this stuff goes over there. Again, it's basically the same spelling as this channel, but with news instead of TV at the end. Make sure to watch those videos because when we do find out little things, we try to go over there and put it out as soon as possible. It says Russia's Belarus troop buildup far exceeds its claims of military exercise. See, that's what I'm saying. They say military exercise on both sides. We are saying that we have just deployed all of our amphibious ships. We have all of our carrier strike groups out in the South China Sea and in the Mediterranean and all over the place. And it's just an exercise, folks. I also want to point out Saki did a press conference today about the cell phones. The thing I remember, she was just talking about like hearing aids and making them more accessible and the right to fix or something. I think that's what it's called, which I actually agree with, where big companies can't do like, they can't make it so you can't fix something yourself. Like Apple, for example, they would put proprietary stuff so you couldn't fix it, right? You'd have to go to the Apple store because little Ma and Pa couldn't get the parts for it. That is something that they've been fighting over. She was talking about that, and then she just casually kind of throws in there like, oh, and they also wanted me to mention that we'll be doing a NATO exercise until February 4th. It's like you just throw in that and then keep going on the other stuff. It's like the main, all of the people that are watching, even the people that are more to one direction that do watch, like Jen and Visaki and all of the kind of press conferences, they would barely know that what is happening right now is happening. One of my neighbors did not know that Taiwan was even a threat, like that they were going to be invaded. Like, who would be invading Taiwan? I'm like, what? Who would be invading Taiwan? For us and for you as an audience member, everybody here looks into this. You know, again, there's a lot of people here that you are following it just as closely as I. Sometimes, you know, you as audience members, since you're all, you know, you're looking everywhere. You might not know. You might know something that I don't. But we try to follow this as closely as possible, so we're all caught up on the same page. But I'm super surprised. Do you know people? And I'm going to ask I'm going to do a survey here in the audience. I'm going to ask everybody, do you know somebody that has no idea about Russia and China and Taiwan? Do you know somebody? Press 1. If you don't, press 2. If pretty much everybody's on the same page, press 2. Press 1 if you know somebody that is just completely in the dark, completely asleep on the Russia-China situation. And by the way, the 2s are okay for those families that are like super about prep and the whole family is on the same page. That's amazing. I like to see the 2s, but I mean, think about it. People at work, people at home, neighbors. I couldn't believe my neighbor did not know about Taiwan at all. Look at that. That is unbelievable. We have 4,700 in YouTube. With DLive, we're much over 5,000. So that's insane. Wow. And I believe that's both platforms there. We've got Blue Dazzling, Saturday, Wolves, Hyperion, Rip Curl. Hey, Rip Curl, thanks for showing up. You've been really, really, really good attendance. Thank you so much for helping. Chad, what is going on? Brittany, we've got the Major, Chickenpox. Kilroy was here. You are old school. Hey, thanks, man. You've been here forever. Judy, Jay Wally. Wally. Rachel Ann, Chauncey. You don't see too many Chaunceys. I worked with a Chauncey. One of the coolest guy I ever met. Daryl Calhoun, what is going on? Adam Calhoun just did a new video with Tom McDonald. You guys should check that out. It's basically NWO. It's but wrote out. William Lee, what about the cargo plane that dropped off the radar near Ukraine yesterday? William Lee, you know what? I did not know about that. Dex, did you find out about a cargo plane that dropped off the radar?
Sure, I'll look it up.
Okay, thank you. No, see, that's a perfect example. William Lee, thank you for that. We will make sure, if we can find it, we will end up putting it on the website. Project Exodus, love you, brother. Gotta watch replay again, but thanks for the hard work. Project Exodus, thank you so much. And that's you don't have to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting. Did a $30 super chat. Thank you, Project Exodus. Ilea, Center for Disease Control recently came out with a study that states that antibodies from natural infants work better than the hokey pokey. Simply Pony, thank you so much for your support. Bones, what is going on? Ilea, I'm surprised they said it because the Israel study, that's like almost a year, or I don't know, 8 months ago that we were all on that. I'm so glad that you see that for what it is. Delaware Sasquatch, I think you could do a whole Instagram doing like satire videos about the V. And then do TikToks too. Get the word out there. I am seeing a lot on TikTok, and man, people are starting to wake up all over in every generation. And then we see, and then of course the second they're done, now it's conflict time. You got to use that military industrial complex. Patricia, thank you so much. Tasker for subscribing. Bones, if you guys haven't checked out Bones, Bonez, he is one of our mods, but he's also a really awesome and smart guy. He is a prepper as well, a trucker, just genuinely a good guy, and he has a great channel. Go over and check him out, Bonez. Pretty amazing he got that. I don't think too many other people have that same name. What do you think of Russia and this buildup? Let me know in the comments down below. Then we have hacktivists say that they hacked Belarus rail system to stop the Russian military buildup. This is crazy, knowing that, of course, that we've confirmed that these trains are rolling in. They actually hacked Belarus rail system to stop these trains from coming, which is insanity. Hacktivists in Belarus said on Monday that they had infected the network of the country's state-run railroad system with ransomware and would provide the decryption key only if Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko stopped aiding Russian troops ahead of the possible invasion with Ukraine. So they weren't asking for money. They were saying stop having Russia come in. Hence, they're hacktivists. So they're not actually doing this for money. They're doing it to stop the war, which is pretty. I mean, look at the age we're in right now, where hackers can stop troops from coming into a country. Think about that.
Or they get paid because they work for a 3-letter agency.
Yeah, that's true. They could do it for
I mean, this is the new modern conflict, right? You know, we've talked about how cyber and we've seen cyber going on even to this day, and even years ago against, you know, between Russia and America, between China and America. It's, you know, absolutely expected to see cyber happen when these conflicts are going on. So, you know, I definitely take the hacktivist word as with a grain of salt when I look at this and think more along the lines of, you know, okay, who's playing what side here, and what are they trying to accomplish in this conflict?
Yeah, what are they trying to do here? It said Bell ZHD at the command of Lukashenko these days allows the occupying troops to enter our land as part of the Peklo cyber campaign. We encrypted the bulk of the servers, databases, and workstations of the Bell ZHD in order to slow down and disrupt the operation of the road. The backups have been destroyed. Dozens of databases have been cyber-attacked, including AS-SLED, AS-USGOGDP, SAP, ACPRED, and pass.rw.by, Aprava, IRC, and etc. So they've been hacking a whole bunch of stuff, trying to stop this or trying to slow it down or trying to reduce it. And who knows who they are? Could be the CIA, KGB, you know, MI6, MI5. I think MI5 would be the office-related ones, but pretty crazy stuff. And this is all going down. Before we talk about Navy puts carrier under NATO control. Think about that. I do want to let you guys know, right now, there are sales going on that were not there just a month ago. They have brought back the sales at My Patriot Supply. You can actually get the 1 month supply for $50 off, and you can get the 3 month supply of food for $150 off. Essentially, they have not raised their prices at all. They are a big company and they can handle some of the demand that is going on right now. But again, a lot of companies have waiting lists for food like this, or some of them are just stopping and they're just saying, "Hey, we can't sell anything right now until we have more." You've probably even seen that on YouTube commercials where they said, "All last year we didn't. Now we have this back in stock." Almost all of the different sites, it will be like you can't get anything that you would actually eat. Like if it's Alfredo or something, it'll be sold out, but you can get the, you know, peas in a hot dog bun or something that would be available. But these guys have everything. The one thing that they don't always have is discounts, though. Instead of they didn't raise their prices, but they did take away their discounts for a while. Those are back. These are highly in demand. This company, again, has done their best not to raise their prices. My Patriot Supply is good. I ate a 7-year sample, and it was actually really, really amazing. So go over to marfooglenews.com/prep. Go check it out. It is short and long-term survival food. They also have water filtration. If you do not have a water filtration system, and I'm not talking about something that goes on your sink, I'm talking about a system that in case something goes down, you can use it to filter water. Again, you know, not your just average Brita. We're talking about serious stuff here. They have it. They have the Alexa Pure Pro. It can filter, again, water just as good as, you know, some of the big brand names that you hear about at a fraction of the cost. This is one of the most important things that we suggest people have, because they say 90% of us after an EMP would perish, not because we're taking each other out or, you know, something else, but because we would not have drinkable, potable water. So it's very important. It's one of the most important things. You can not live without water for a very short amount of time. All right. Let's see here. All right. And Dex, this is just this. The title of this in itself is an insane thing to think about.
Yeah, because we just reported that it was heading in that direction, right? We said that the carrier was going, the carrier group, I think it was the Harry Truman, was heading into the Mediterranean, and we all suspected that it was going, and now here we see it. It's being put into NATO control. That's crazy. It's not crazy. I mean, that's part of, you know, the writing's on the wall, guys.
So on top of, well, by the way, so they say that they're preparing to deploy these troops. So technically, as the public looks at it, they're like, well, we haven't even deployed yet. They're just preparing to deploy. They have already transferred and essentially made our troops their troops because they have put this carrier under NATO's control. NATO is going in, and there's about to be fighting. What else could you call this? Unless last second they all pull up and they're about to kill each other and they go, oh, we want to make peace. There are no signs as of now, so just using the information we have, there are no signs that they would want to de-escalate, and they're extremely serious about this. We are also serious about not giving these guarantees, saying we will not bring NATO in, saying that we will sign these guarantees to Russia for long-term agreements, saying we won't load anything into Ukraine. The U.S. and all of our allies, they want to get into Ukraine. It would be like Russia getting into Mexico. We wouldn't have it. Russia doesn't want to have it either. So there's two sides to this. Either way, both countries have propaganda. Both countries have Fantastic Freddy's that are going on. F's that happen. That we even just warned a couple days ago. And by we, I mean the U.S., said that they were warning of an FF from Russia in that area to start the conflict, right? They don't really need it. There's enough stuff going on right now that they could just simply get it started. Real quick, I do want to say thank you to AR. Says, hey, Marf, did you see my message on Twitter about the Ukraine military plane in Texas? Okay, R15, I will check it. If that's the one that you're talking about that fell off the radar, I will look. Or whatever it is, I'll look and I'll make sure to add it. If it can't be added today, it will be added tomorrow. Also, Super Hercules flew over Virginia last Friday. Super Hercules, geez. And then Bear Lover 92,000, did you see JB call a reporter a stupid SOB? I did see that, and he didn't. It's like they said hot mic, but it was like just out in public. The one thing I thought of is one of my friends basically said that he liked JB over the T-Man because he thought T-Man would swear, and he wasn't the idea of a president that he thought, a president should be, that they should be very polite and, the image of perfect, manners. JB, he's old school, just ornery. Stupid son of America. He's the get off my lawn president. Amanda Rachel, love to you all. Thank you, Marf, Dex, Mods, fam. Love is better on stilts. Keep on keeping on, Foogles. Mrs. H, thank you. Hopkinson, Ed G. Whalen, thank you so much. T-Man Red Pill, thank you. Force of Nature, thank you for being here, and thank you for the lemon. Dudesy Bug, praying for perfect health for you, Adam. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate all the prayers from everybody. Again, I'll give an update at the very end of the show. Thank you so much. M-Mention says, which is best, donate money here or cash PayPal? You don't have to do anything, but of course PayPal does take the least. But actually, DLive isn't as bad as some of the others. In fact, DLive is way better than, of course, some of the others that take basically half. And then Hopkinson, thank you for thinking about that. That is really appreciated. That's something that people don't account for. Renegade PD, I appreciate that. Bear Lover, Vibron, and Karen from Columbus. Recalcitrant, it's J502, Charity 1950. Gunsmoke 51, thanks. Hey, it says sup. How are you doing? All right, and then that's not good. And then Pentagon puts up to 8,500 U.S. forces on alert. And they're saying that they were already on a readiness, 10-day readiness. Now they say that they are on 5-day readiness. And he was making it sound like, it sounds like they're trying to say like that they'll change their mind last second. It seems like they're like, okay, well, we'll just give you one chance. Like when you're talking to your kid and saying, 1, 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 2 3/4 and 1/4. just go do it before you get a timeout. It sounds like that, right? I don't know if Dex, do you get what I'm saying? Like it's
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's like, oh, we want to negotiate, but we're not willing to say it's over. We're always willing to just keep dragging it out.
It sounds like they're like setting red lines and they go, I'll give you one more chance. We're almost there. We were already at super readiness, ultimate readiness, to show that Russia, we're serious. But now we're at super ultra readiness, and we're at 5 days. Next we'll be like, we're at 1 day and 1 minute readiness. Then we're like, 15 minutes. We're ready to go, Jacko. That's what they'll be at next. Ready to go, Jacko. I don't know if I could see John Kirby saying that, Pentagon spokesperson. Ready to go, Jacko. And then President B would come in, yeah, you stupid son of a bomber. Up to 8,500 U.S. forces. Sorry, there was an echo there. That was weird. Heightened alert for potential deployment on Eastern Europe amid growing tensions between Washington and Moscow over Ukraine. Defense Department Press Secretary John Kirby stressed during his regular briefing that no final decision had been made about whether to deploy troops to the region as part of a 40,000-strong NATO response force, or the NRF, in the event Russia invades its western neighbor. It says, we'll continue to provide updates in the coming days about these decisions. Now, one other thing, what if China, because China is so close to Taiwan, what if they have teamed up and they're distracting everybody? They send all their ships to Russia, and then China takes Taiwan. I wonder if anybody has ever thought about that. Look at the right hand while the left hand does this. A lot of the things that they've talked about with Taiwan. Dex, do you remember how they said basically we would already have to be there to defend it, otherwise it would be over by the time we even got the notice?
Right. Yeah, they could literally just take a handful of the islands, the smaller islands, and now they're occupied. And then once occupied, the question then comes, do we have the guts to actually go remove them? Right. And to do that is literally like full hot conflict with China. So if we're not willing to do that, or we're not willing to put up a blockade before that, then, it's almost crazy to think that we're going to actually be able to do something here unless we're willing to go all the way.
And by the way, when you said hot, you added an H there, like Cool Whip. You said hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Hot conflict. Well, we'll see. And Dex, do you want to talk about the China flies 39 warplanes and put that into perspective compared to what we've covered?
So hot on the heels of us saying that we put a carrier group out there, or we put a sub in and surfaced it in that general area. It was in Guam, I think. We have a carrier group out there. I think we're going to talk about other carrier groups. All of this happens, and now China is flying in 30. Starting up their warplane exercises again, right? So they flew in 39 planes towards, the ADA zone, and, to spook or to poke or prod or to prepare themselves for the flights they're going to do when they, go forward and take Taiwan. So we're seeing that happen. And of course, then the Taiwanese Air Force had to scramble its own jets and then track them and make sure that they didn't, completely encroach into their territory. But we've heard this. I think it was last month. We saw a lot of this happen over and over and over again. And then we had a little bit of a delay, and now we've got it amping back up here again. Probably maybe because of CV settling in their country a little bit. I don't know, but there was a little bit of a break on this, it seemed like, and now I'm suspecting we're going to hear a lot more of these encroachments again, just like we did a month and a half ago.
And if you remember, as we covered, if you have followed the channel and you've been with us on this journey, we covered it was like 19 planes in one day, and then it was like 22, and then it was 27, and it was constantly breaking a record. This is 39 warplanes all at the same time. That's big. So obviously a lot more is going on than most people are in the know about. Now, like I said, most civilians here in the United States, they're kind of brainwashed not to think about this kind of stuff, or just the environment and us as a whole and our culture is like, we don't need to be, it's a need to know basis, and we're civilians, so we don't need to know. Prepper community and community, everybody that looks into this stuff, we're all, following this as close as possible. And you always feel like, well, what if I warn my neighbors? Have you ever, in fact, let me ask you this. Have you ever warned any of your close family, like, hey, stuff is about to go down, and then it doesn't? And then you feel like, oh, they think I'm crazy, right? I'd much rather be the boy who cried wolf than the dead boy. I'd much rather be the boy who cried wolf than the boy that all of his friends died because he didn't warn them. I just much rather let everybody know. And I do feel you. Like, I'm talking to the people that have done the same thing. I have talked to my neighbors and my close friends and family, and I've said, hey, like, have stuff ready. And then it doesn't, and then things aren't as bad. But I always tell them, I say, I hope that by next week that this will just be kind of a crazy thing. Like, don't worry about it. But I would suggest that people, especially on both coastlines, get your stuff ready. I was told by family to get stuff ready. So I passed that on to very few people. This was yesterday. Now I'm kind of telling you guys today, right? If a miracle happens and nothing goes down, and by the way, a miracle would be that it just happens over there. A lot of different things pointing that this is going to become bigger than that. And I am praying, and I have prayed, like actually sat down, took a concerted effort to pray to my God, to Jesus, said, hey, please don't let this happen. My kids are little. I worry about this stuff on a daily basis. I'm not fearful. I'm not trembling. I'm not scared all the time, but I am aware. And I think that that's the difference. People need to be aware, especially, like I've said, if you are a matriarch or a patriarch of your family, you're ready. Dex's kids are all grown up, but he still takes plans seriously and plans for his kids. Even though they're off doing whatever and they're grown-ups and young people, they've got a million things. He has plans set up because they're not going to plan.
So they have multiple maps on how to get to my house. Yep. On foot, via car, via any other type of transportation and get their hands on.
I mean, things right now, I would, if you have 15 minutes in between, if you're working out or something and you have 15 minutes between working out, take 15 minutes of your day and just at 15 minutes per day and add something to your plan. Like, hey, figure out how you can walk from here to here using the power lines without streets. Figure that kind of stuff out in your free time. If something does go down and you've got jets like this flying right next to your downtown areas and they don't say USA, then you might need to know. It's something that everybody should be figuring out just in case. But hey, and by the way, you are being taught to think that that's fear-mongering. Anybody that says fear-mongering, it's like they're trying to hurt you because they're trying to hurt your preparedness. They don't want you to be prepared. I don't get it. If somebody else wants to be prepared, that's their prerogative. Let them be prepared. If somebody wants to be hyper-vigilant or hyper-aware of their surroundings or even worried about things that are not, that's their business. It's my business if I want to worry about this stuff. If I wasn't doing this channel, I would also be warning my friends and family. My personal friends and family, who many of them I don't even really, I haven't talked to in the last year. I still call them and I say, hey, get your stuff ready, have extra water. Because it's to that point. And it's been at that point for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. We've seen it evolve. Now we're at end game unless they knock off that top brick or they pull the Jenga and it all falls down. How can people see all of this and not The whole world is out in the water right now. 2 U.S. carrier strike groups are operating in the South China Sea after massive show of force. The Navy is signaling its powerful Pacific presence to China, even as the world is focused on Russia's actions near Ukraine. Look at this. It says the Navy has released footage of an absolutely massive joint show of force in the Philippine Sea that included 2 carrier strike groups, 2 amphibious ready groups, and a helicopter destroyer from the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force, or the JMSDF. In the days following this exercise, China sent dozens of aircraft into the Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. So, Dex, are these the amphibious boats that we saw leave on the 18th and 19th? Do you think that they're related, or do you think they're the same ones, or this is different?
Yeah, I don't know if these are them, because that's maybe they could have gotten there that fast, but it's kind of a long trip. But yes, the same type, and these 2 groups now are together, which I didn't know. And maybe this is one of the first times we're hearing about there being 2 carrier groups. We knew about one, but 2 of them together in the South China Sea, which that's a significant amount of power when you think about it. I mean, even that picture looks pretty terrifying, and that's probably just, a small dot on what they can actually get up in the air and what they've got available. So, yeah, this is a really, big show of force for the U.S. against China, and obviously why China probably rolled 39 planes out into Taiwan's ADIZ.
Look at that. There's 4 carriers. 4 different, 2 different, the bigger carriers, and then 2 of the smaller carriers. And then the accompaniment there. And then they've got some of the, what are those? Those aren't, are they F-35s? And then this one, this is like a radar type plane. I forget what this one's used for. It's
a reconnaissance.
If somebody's an expert and wants to make a comment, and I'll pin it if somebody names all of these ships and planes and what they do and what their purpose is, I would most definitely pin that if I saw it, if it was detailed. And then Hail to the King says, what's going on above us while the world's eyes are watching this? That's a good question, too. I'm not taking my eyes off of space either, or what's up above us, whether that be physical space or universe space. Either way, there are things happening all over the place. Remember the fireballs that we talked about in the beginning? Oh, wait, they said that was a intercepted missile. But what the public saw was fireballs falling out of the sky. Who knows? Delaware Sasquatch says, I was on carrier under NATO control in 96 called the Serbian Conflict. USS T. Roosevelt did a lot of missions during conflict. History repeats. Yes, it does, Delaware. Lots of vets just like you in this audience. What do you think if you are a vet tonight? Do you think we are close, or do you think I'm crazy? And it's okay to say I'm crazy, even if you're a Foogle fan. Do you think I'm crazy for thinking that we're close? SP says, appreciate that the 2 of you keep my family in the loop. Well, that's it. Again, it's voluntary to watch. This show's for the people that do. I would say if you do not want to follow this stuff, or if you're easily fearful, then I would say tune out and unsubscribe. You don't want to see this stuff. It's not good for you. Then don't watch. Doc Bill says, hi, fam. Been away for a while. Hey, Doc Bill. It's nice to see you. And, of course, as always, the Foogle fam's got your back. Remember, to all the new people that are here, because I know there's a lot of new people in the audience, remember to welcome new names as you see them and try to get to know them. Ask them, ask them how their day was. And then we have F-35 accident aboard carrier in South China Sea forces pilot to eject, injures 7 sailors. These can always be something else, but you never know. Dex, do you want to cover this one?
Yeah, so this is so for right now, everybody seems to be okay. The pilot ejected and was in the water and recovered from a helicopter unit. I think he's in stable or serious condition. I can't remember. A handful of other individuals that were on the deck, though, had a lot of injuries, and some of them were medevac to the Philippines, and they are now in stable condition. And a couple others were treated on board and were able to have their injuries treated on the ship. So everybody seems to be fine. We don't know any of the details. The Navy has not released that. But obviously this happened, and this is the carrier group we were just talking about. So, these F-35s, they take off, they have that special, I guess, almost like a vertical takeoff, but it's an assisted takeoff. But the landing is definitely one that they can sort of hover down. So I don't know if they lost control, if something happened to the unit and the pilot had to eject. We don't know. We don't know exactly what happened here. And I think they can also do a standard landing too, where they grab the wire, the hook wire. So we'll hopefully find out more. But the good thing is all of our troops there that were involved seem to be doing okay right now.
And by the way, so this is that group that is in the South China Sea. How many times in history has it now been declassified that something like this happened, or at least publicly for 30 years, then we found out that it was an actual attack that happened, or say they ran into a Chinese boat, that Chinese boat sent a shot over the bow and it hit the ship, starts war, but then they go, hey, it was an accident, and then they cover it all up. Not that exact scenario has happened, but we've seen many things where we actually did an active war towards each other, to China, Russia, I would say almost all of our adversaries, and then they worked it out, or they said, hey, this wasn't what it looked like. Was this one of those? My question to anybody is, was this on an accident? Was this sabotage? Did they have somebody on that boat? They've definitely infiltrated our military. Was there something wrong? Did somebody not do a pre-flight check and the right thing, the right jet or something was off, so it flipped over and hit everybody? Was there a software issue? What exactly happened? Will there be camera footage of this F-35 injuring 7 people? How did it injure 7 people? Was it the people that were on deck? Did it explode? The guy ejected and it just burnt people? Lots of things are unclear here.
Well, and they also haven't confirmed or denied whether or not the jet is in the water. So it could have, all this could have just happened on deck and they were able to salvage the ship on deck, or it could have gone in the water. And I know why they're not saying it, because if it is in the water, well, they're doing a massive recovery, because the last thing we need is an adversary picking up an F-35. We've had a couple of these go down in water before, and it's a really big deal with the military or the Navy to get out there, get that equipment and get it back up, because there's so much sensitive information available in that hardware, even if it's just being salvaged out of the water, for our adversaries to be able to detect or learn how to defend against, or to, be
reverse
offensive
engineer.
Against. Reverse engineer, all sorts of stuff, right? So that's critical.
Well, on top of that, what if they actually shot this down, and this is just the story to explain a $1 billion jet disappearing? What if that happened, and then right afterwards they went into their... What if we've already started, and in the next 24 hours they're going to tell us we're at war with China and Russia? I mean, you never know. That's the thing. One day you will wake up and we're in World War III. That's the difference. People woke up in the 40s and they said, we're in a world war right now. We're involved. We are now in World War III with everyone else. One day, I believe in the near future, everyone in the world will wake up with that headline.
And unless you're in the hot zone, you're not going to hear about the hot portion of the conflict immediately. It'll take a little time. It always does. You're going to wake up and it's going to be 24 hours old, or 30 hours old before you find out about something.
I think it will travel fast now with the internet. But
certainly.
Yeah, but
it won't be. They can't hold it back like the old days. But certainly when it comes to the military, saying and confirming that they've done something, they don't do that usually immediately. They take their time.
Just a reminder too, we are about to do pick somebody for the free off-grid bag. If you guys haven't heard about off-grid, they were EDEC. They have now changed it to off-grid. When they were EDEC, they mostly worked for like FBI and agencies like that, making bags that would be untrackable, but also it would prevent any kind of hacking. These bags are essentially, the different kinds are Faraday bags. They prevent your phone, laptop, tablet, key fob, anything from being hacked or tracked. The cool thing is right here now they have 2 new bags, the Faraday Duffel Bag and then the backpack. The backpack is what's on screen right now. The backpack, which is one of the highest quality backpacks you will ever see, that actually has 4 individual slots, one with the key fob, one with the cell phone, tablet, and then laptop. That's all built into the bag, so you can have all of your electronics covered. And then on top of that, it's a full-size bag with a ton of room. It's super high quality. The thing's going to last for decades. Again, you can get that or the actual duffel bag, which I think was shown already, but here it is. This, essentially, the whole thing is a duffel bag, plus it has a built-in chamber inside. So if you need to, put a ton of electronics and protect them, you can actually put them in this bag and it will protect them. Again, this is at marfooglenews.com/offgrid. The winner, which will be picked from a random subscriber on Marfoogle News, will get their choice of either. The second prize will get whichever one wasn't picked. I have 1 Faraday bag and I have 1 backpack, and I'm going to be giving them away. If you don't want to take your chances and you just want to get one and support our show at the same time, you can get a discount by going to marfooglenews.com/offgrid. It is appreciated. Again, when you do that, you support the ecosystem of us. Because we cover the subjects we do, we are not treated like a photography channel or something else. We are put in the back bin, and essentially everything is easily findable except for us. So how you can help us is sharing out our content with somebody who has not seen us. I believe that all 50,000 regular daily viewers, probably or most of them, learned of us from somebody else or through word of mouth. So that is the biggest help that you can give us. After that, if you can help by getting one of our affiliates, the one that you actually need, don't get something just to support us, get something you actually want or need. That's why we're trying to vary the things that we have. So if there's something that you are already going to buy, if you can get it through us, that would be helpful. Always purchase things that you can afford. I really, I always want to make sure that everybody is taking care of themselves, their family, their kids first. So thank you, everybody. Dex, you want to talk about some of the too hot for TV stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. So everyone, head over to marfooglenews.com, go to our website, click on the thumbnail that represents today's show, and scroll down to that yellow heading that says web-only content, and you'll get everything else we couldn't talk about. So you heard Adam mention the hot mic incident with our current administration. That's one of the first things right there. You can play it. Some stuff going down with the Supreme Court. Always content happening around that November event that we always talk about, as well as things going on from the January event that turned into something bigger, and lots more, including what the former FDA official had to say. So go check it out. It's at marfooglenews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show, or if you're on YouTube, just open the description. It's the first link. It says show notes.
And, of course, there is a ton of other shows to go through. When you go to the top, you can click on news or TV. When you click on news, you'll get all the shorts. If you are not subscribed to that other channel, this is the easiest way to go about that. All you have to do is click on the home screen, and you will see the videos for both. You can just click on news, and then, boom, it will bring you to all of the news episodes. And then, of course, any kind of content from whatever platform, it will be over there. Plus, all of the boxes on the right, those help support us. If you click on those, you will be directed through our links. So, again, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to figure out how to do it. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I want to make a special thank you to some of the people that were over at the news live earlier. I screenshotted the people. I thought it was pretty amazing. We had 550,000 watch hours on that 10-minute video. And I thought about how blessed we are to have the people watching today compared to what it was. It took me, I can't even, it felt like forever to get 4,000 watch hours. Now in a single video, we can get 550,000 watch hours in a 10-minute video. That means thousands of people are watching it live. You know, in the first hour, we got, in the first 10 minutes. That was the update at the end of the show, what it shows you, how many hours. And that's insane. So thank you, everybody that's here. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. So you are part of this. We try to interact and get information from you as much as we possibly can. So thank you, everybody that contributes to the channel. Thank the mods. Make sure to put an M or a mods in the chat. Make sure to say hi to your favorite mod down there. We've got Jam, Chance Paladin. We've got Jammer over on D-Live, Wonder Woman, LCJC Family on YouTube, Lisa R. Hall, Rip Curl, Riptide, Rip Curl Readiness. We've got Bones down there, JStone78. We've got all sorts of great people down there, so make sure to check them out. Trinity, again, lots of great people. Lady G476. Thank you, Marf and Dex. Make sure to send a prayer out for Alish. She just lost her sister last week. Really rough time. Praying for you, Alish. One of our funniest mods, and just in general, smart woman. Lady Green Eyes, Charlie64. Thank you, Texas Rob49. It was looking like Top Gun here in Texas earlier in the day. Training, Texas Rob. I believe we have gotten so many reports from Texas today. I would assume that they're doing some sort of drill if they have that many planes up in the air. We've heard of Hercules. I heard C5. I heard, and most of these people probably don't know how to identify exactly what kinds. Tons of air action in Texas. It's getting crazy out there, my friends. Yes, it is. Thank you, M. Menching. I appreciate you. And then thank you for gifting out subscriptions to people, basically the badge. Appreciate you. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that matter most, you. Quick thank you to the folks that went over to PayPal this week. Ruth S., Jessica T., Cameron R. Thank you. Global Impact. Thank you, Marfoogle News, for all you do. Marfia for life. Terry T., Krista R. Thank you so much. Terry T., thank you so much for helping out. Fairly M. James Lee Jr. So one thing I do want to address real quick. So it looks like my immune system has gone down. I have another bout of diverticulitis. This is my third, so I'm pretty scared as far as what's going to happen, because after 2, they talk about removing parts of your intestines. So hopefully it will not be a bad one. You run the risk of having your intestines blow up. That is on top of blood clotting and hematuria. If you want to look that up, I don't need to describe it. That has been going on as well. So I want to thank everybody that has been here since day one, but thank you for the people that have been praying. I may not be able to do every show this week or in future weeks. I don't know. I have to play every show by ear, just so you know that. I appreciate everybody's patience with the days that I have missed already. I believe I've missed 4 or 5 days in the last month. So thank you, everybody that helps share our stuff out. When we do go live and you guys are sharing it, we know it and we notice it. So thank you, everybody that shares us out to friends and family. Even if I'm in the hospital, I will most likely update to where the channel is at. And, of course, I want Dex to go on if I can't go on. He's still working towards doing that more regularly, too. So thank you, everybody. Much love. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. Akasha, North Carolina. Thank you. to the king and the dentist, so lie. Oh, Larry B, you're by my side. Delaware, Sasquatch, and this ride. Gonna go crash in the wall on 5. Bring it right back and I'll be by my side. Oh, we, oh, we, oh, we, I. Journey back and on me. Oh, take it on that Elaine Hanley. Bring it right back with a pretty gray. All my knees are stone on face. In the Jeremy Hilo swinger and Jay. I live in your day, you know. Angela RFW and a Westley with the Tim Reynolds.
I'm gonna go to him when I die. Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride. I'm gonna go to him when I die. Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride.
Hold on, I've been on a salad ringo. Hold let it go and I'm playing bingo. And the big back down and it got to go. And the cowabunga and I'm riding low.
I'm gonna go to him when I die. Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride. I'm gonna go to him when I die. Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride. I'm gonna go to him when I die. Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride.
Artemis Prime and I'll do this. Jay and the thief, they got it lit. In the sky house, 2 medals in the air. Hills for life with a global impact. Going on the background, everybody knows. Burning the ghost, oh rose, my innocent watchman in the sky house. Oh, everybody wanna be a deceiving fool. Everybody and they jumping in the pool. And the Lisa nuts in which I'm at too. Roman wolf and a shoreline bull. Oh, nah, and they pull the wool over their face with a tree huggers too.
Jesus is coming and he's fitting to ride.
Brad Kiefer. You can win one of the $200 to $400 bags just by going over and being a part of that. You don't necessarily have to be subscribed to Marfoogle News. Otherwise, you can send an email with your name and a way to get in touch to adam@marfooglenews.com. No purchase necessary. The bags are awesome.